Welcome back, friendly neighbors and Spidey fanatics. Today we're jumping into the Spider-Verse and bringing you alternate versions of Spider-Man. Some you may know, and some you've never heard of. This is a Spider-Man from the 1602 Marvel series, where instead Peter Parker's name is Peter Parquois. And his name is shortened from Spider-Man to simply the Spider. 1602 Spider-Man has roughly the same origin as our 616 Spider-Man, except the powers are noticeably weaker. This wall-crawler's career came to an abrupt end after a fatal encounter with Morlun in the Spider-Man Spider-Verse comic series event. People might recognize this Spider-Man as an optional skin in Spider-Man PS4, but he's actually his own hero. Hobart Hobby Brown is Spider-Man from Earth 138. In this universe, the United States is controlled by the mad dictator Ozzy Osbourne. This Earth is a complete cyberpunk wonderland, gangs, heavy metal bands, and tech-filled regimes. Hobie leads a rebel group known as the Spider Army, using the power of rock music to stop authority. Spider-Man Noir can be considered one of the darker versions of all the Spider-Man variants. Born in the Great Depression era, Peter Parker received his powers from an ancient artifact connected to a spider god in one of his warehouses. Unlike 616 Spider-Man, this Spider-Man uses fear and scare tactics to help defeat all of his foes. He is admittedly weaker than Spider-Man, but he's definitely more of a Batman Sherlock Holmes type of character. Oh, the only good grace out of the Clone Saga. Ben Reilly, aka Scarlet Spider, created by the Jackal solely for destroying Spider-Man's life. Ben is one of several clones of Peter Parker. Ben literally tried to ruin Peter's life by making everyone believe that Peter was the clone. Eventually, the two made peace, and Ben takes up the mantle of Scarlet Spider and becomes another superhero. But in the end, it all becomes too much for him to handle, and he gives up the complicated superhero life and leaves it all behind. Spider-Side has earned his name by killing thousands of people in both Springville and Pennsylvania, along with all the powers of Peter Parker and also having the ability to manipulate his body at a molecular level, almost to the same level as Mr. Fantastic. Needless to say, this man is dangerous. Definitely one of the weirder adaptations of Spider-Man for sure. This Spider-Man story takes influences from knights and sorcery fairy tales. Web Slinger had a fascination with spiders from a young age. He was granted powers from the Widow of Webs under one condition: never use his powers for personal gain. After defying the rules, using his powers to take down the murderers who killed his uncle, he transformed into a humanoid spider, forever cursed in this form to protect the people who hate and fear him. Mayday Parker is the daughter of Peter Parker and Mary Jane Watson in the MC2 universe. Gaining her father's powers by birth, Spider-Girl has become a fan favorite for comics readers everywhere. While she might not have the same strength and durability as Peter, her speed, agility, and spider sense surpass his by a huge margin. She's also been a reserve member of the Avengers and other amazing Marvel teams. I know fans cannot wait to see her in animation and live action. That includes me. This is what happens when the Ghost Rider has a one-night stand with Spider-Man. Okay, it didn't quite happen like that. On Earth 11638, Peter Parker died and had the help of Infernal Hulk to resurrect himself. During this process, Peter fused with the Spirit of Vengeance, a very dangerous version of Ghost Rider, boosting both heroes' powers to maximum levels. Miguel O'Hara is not your average Spider-Man. This Spider-Man is from the future. If you haven't already guessed, he's from the year 2099. Miguel was a genius that worked for the Alchemax Corporation, a counterpart of Oscorp. After one of his colleagues tried to sabotage his work and caused an explosion, it granted Miguel spider powers, almost like Spider-Man. Except, there's some key differences. Miguel's eyes were enhanced and his webbing was organic from his wrists, unlike Peter, who needs web shooters to make his iconic webs. Without a doubt, the strongest version of Spider-Man, Cosmic Spider-Man, was the result of being bonded to the Enigma Force. This gave Peter immeasurable strength, energy manipulation, transmutation, and molecular control, in addition to near omniscience. While Peter couldn't hold the power for long, the Spider-Man of Earth 13 continued to serve as Captain Universe, leading the Spider Army to take revenge against Morlun and the Inheritors in his universe. Well, there you go, Spidey fans. Was there any alternate versions of Spider-Man we missed? Leave it in the comment and maybe we'll do a volume 2 of this video. Until then, subscribe to the Spider-Man fan channel for the best videos for Spider-Man fans on all of YouTube. Hit the notifications so you don't miss anything, and we'll see you here next time.